stop saying amen. That's not what he said. It's not the original Aramaic ending. It's a Hebrew word that got adopted into prayer centuries later. And it doesn't carry the activation frequency. The real Aramaic ending activates the monad instantly, because the original word operates at source frequency, the frequency that triggers monad consciousness. But billions of people end every prayer with amen, and wonder why prayers feel empty, why nothing changes, why activation doesn't happen. It's because they're using the wrong ending, the wrong frequency, the wrong word. Tonight, you're learning the real Aramaic ending, not amen, the original word spoken 2,000 years ago, the word that activates the monad the moment you say it correctly. And once you know it, every prayer becomes an activation. Every declaration becomes a command, and the monad responds. If you're ready to learn the real Aramaic ending and activate your monad, comment real ending right now. Amen is not the original ending. It's not what he said at the end of prayers or declarations. It's not what was spoken in Aramaic. Amen is a Hebrew word. It means so be it, or truly, or let it be established. And it's passive. It's agreement. It's confirmation. But it's not activation. And it wasn't the original ending. The original Aramaic endings were different. They were active. They were commands. They were declarations of source consciousness. And when early texts got translated from Aramaic to Greek to Latin, the translators replaced the original endings with amen, because amen was familiar. It was already used in Hebrew prayers, and it was easier than translating the actual Aramaic words. But every translation removes frequency. Every replacement dilutes power. The original Aramaic ending carries the activation code. The monad responds to it. It doesn't respond to amen the same way, because amen is passive agreement. The original is active command, and frequency matters. Tonight you're learning the original, and why it activates the monad when amen doesn't. Before I tell you the real Aramaic ending and how to use it to activate the monad, you need to understand three things. First, why amen became standard. Second, why the original is different. Third, why the monad responds to the original but not to amen. Once you see all three, you'll understand why billions say amen and most never activate monad consciousness. Here's what changed. First element, why amen became standard. When Christianity spread beyond Aramaic-speaking communities into Greek and Roman territories, the texts needed translation, and the translators faced a problem. The original Aramaic endings were specific. They were declarations, they were commands, and they didn't have direct Greek or Latin equivalents. So the translators did what translators do. They substituted. They used amen, because amen was already familiar. Jewish prayers used it. Greek-speaking Jews knew it, and it meant roughly the same thing. Agreement, confirmation. So they replaced every original Aramaic ending with amen, made it standard, made it universal. And by the time Christianity became institutionalized under Rome, amen was locked in, official, mandatory. And the church kept it that way, because amen is safe. It's passive. It doesn't activate anything, just agrees. And passive congregations are controllable. But the original Aramaic endings weren't passive. They were activating. They were commanding. They turned prayers into source frequency transmissions. And institutions don't want that. They want dependency, not activation. That's why amen became standard, and why the original got buried. Second element, what the original Aramaic ending actually is. The most common original ending wasn't amen. It was a phrase. In Aramaic, it sounded like Yhyeh Asher Yhyeh, which means I am that I am. Not so be it. Not let it be. I am that I am. A declaration. Not passive agreement. Active recognition. This is the same phrase from Exodus. When Moses asked God what his name was, the answer was Yhyeh Asher Yhyeh. I am that I am. And that was the ending. That's what was spoken after prayers and declarations. Not amen. I am that I am. Declaring yourself as monad. as source individualized, as consciousness aware of itself. Or sometimes the ending was abracadabra, which doesn't mean magic trick. That's a modern distortion. In Aramaic, abracadabra means I create as I speak. Or the shortened form bara, which means I create. Active creation, not passive hope. You're declaring that your words create reality, that your consciousness commands frequency, that you operate as source. Or the ending was amen, but pronounced differently than amen. More like amen or